Dear Capricorn, if you've been waiting for a clear sign from the universe, this is it. Because the 13th, often misunderstood in popular culture, is in fact the gateway to a powerful cycle. And you, Capricorn, are the one being called to step through. Friday the 13th is not the unlucky day the movies have portrayed. In astrology, it's a point of energetic intersection when the moon and the sun simultaneously activate the deeper layers of the soul, triggering a 13-day sequence of intense energetic opening. It is a moment perfectly designed for you, a grounded earth sign, to reset your intentions, reconnect with your inner ecosystem, and realign everything that has fallen out of rhythm. You might begin with a small yet symbolic act. Light a candle on the morning of the 13th, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, am I living in tune with my true frequency? This is not superstition. This is how you mark a reset point, a return to your body, your spirit, and your mind, so you can move through the world with your true energy. From that day forward, the 13-day cycle opens, and if you are patient enough to stay connected with yourself through it, you'll begin to notice what once seemed like coincidence is actually purposeful signal. The dreams, the sudden mental flashes, the old song that plays at the exact right moment, or a strong urge to go somewhere or do something. All of these are whispers from the deepest part of your soul. There's no longer any doubt. This is the time you're being invited into something greater, not just as the one who builds solid foundations, but as someone who now chooses to live fully from the sacred space within. Saturn, your ruling planet, is no longer playing the stern teacher. It now becomes a quiet guide. What once felt like restrictions or discipline is becoming a compass, helping you discern what's truly worth keeping and what is ready to be released. So don't let yourself get swept up in the chaos around you. Whether you're in the middle of noise or silence, carve out a few moments each day to listen to your own heartbeat, to hear what your inner sun is trying to tell you. Because it's in that stillness that you'll receive the invitation. And that invitation is for you, Capricorn, the one who has walked through countless trials, now being offered a chance to begin again. Not from the beginning, but from your truest self. If you find yourself sitting quietly, alone, in the midst of life's fast-moving rhythm, know that this is not isolation. It is a necessary stage for you to meet yourself again. Capricorn, your ruling planet, Saturn, is aligning with the sun's energy in a rare configuration, activating a deep layer of awareness within you, a space where you no longer need to prove anything, only to be. This is the time you're encouraged to live independently in the truest sense, not by separating from the world, but by becoming steady enough to not be swept away by anything that no longer fits. A subtle pattern is repeating, the key word independence, but it comes with another important concept: harmony. You don't have to choose between being alone and being with others. You're being invited to regenerate the balance between the two, between listening inwardly and connecting outwardly with those who resonate at your frequency. This is also a beautiful time to return to the journey of self-discovery, not just chasing goals. If you feel like you've lost a part of your personality in the whirlwind of responsibility, then now is the time to restore it, slowly, piece. Astrology calls this cycle the integration of inner forces, when both the yang principle, action, and the yin principle, nurturing, inside you, are seeking balance again. Your energy right now resembles that of a king or queen sitting firmly on their throne. No need to shout, no need to command. Your presence alone is enough to lead. If you're nurturing a project, a career path, or a long-term vision, trust this. The foundation you're building today will manifest clearly in the times to come. You don't need to chase the pace of others. The sun is now illuminating your astrological 10th house, the house of purpose, carrying the energy of achievement and lasting value. And if you're currently in a relationship, romantic or collaborative, you may sense something special. Perhaps words aren't even necessary, but the energy between you and the other is unmistakably supportive. One side brings structure, the other brings softness. One holds steady, the other flows. And when both move forward together, that is wholeness. Still, you don't need the other to arrive at that state. You are fully capable of embodying it on your own. If you know how to dialogue with both the logical and emotional parts of yourself, try taking time to reflect on the path you've traveled, not to judge, but to see just how much you've grown. Because Capricorn doesn't need to compete to prove their place. You are here to realize a vision, not to win against the world. And right now, the most powerful thing you can do is bring your attention back to yourself, to the version of you that exists in the reality you desire. That version is not some distant dream. It is a self that has always lived inside you, quietly waiting for your return. You don't need to rush, you don't need to carry it all, and above all, you don't need to keep pleasing things that no longer align with your soul. Capricorn, you are being led, not by the noise outside, but by the light within you. A light as warm as the early winter sun, quiet yet fierce, gentle but never weak. When everything seems to be going in the right direction, something suddenly flips, causing you to hesitate. Capricorn, this energy isn't a setback, it's the universe asking, are you sure you want to keep going this way? Your ruling planet, Saturn, is currently forming a challenging aspect with the energy of Jupiter or the Moon, depending on your personal natal chart. This creates a temporary disturbance in your emotions and thoughts. It's a kind of light stumble on your path, offering you time to reassess your goals. Not a sign of failure. The sun is still shining on your zodiac zone, but along with it comes a gentle caution. The brighter the light, the clearer the shadows. And Capricorn, with your deep mind and sharp analytical sense, will likely feel this more quickly than anyone else. You may find yourself being pulled toward a decision, a piece of information, or a direction that sparks doubt. You might not know why, but something inside you knows it's not entirely right, even if it looks perfectly logical on the surface. Astrology calls this the intersection of light and illusion, a moment when you're asked to choose. Keep believing in the familiar that no longer truly resonates, or pause and listen to your instinct. This isn't a time to act rashly. It's a time to step back, like the sun setting in preparation for a new day. In the current cosmic alignment, your energy is in a state of accumulation, like a sphere of potential waiting to be activated at the right moment. If you're feeling burdened by too many things, family responsibilities, work pressures, or expectations from others, this is a signal you're carrying too much energy that doesn't belong to you. Remember, Saturn doesn't promote unconditional sacrifice. It teaches selective responsibility. Only when you clearly recognize the boundary between helping others and harming yourself can you stand firmly in your role as a true guide. Sometimes, it's the emotional overload that comes from doing the right thing that actually pulls you away from your soul, and right now, astrology urges you to return to balance between action and nourishment, between reason and feeling. Especially if you've recently been having strange dreams, or if new ideas keep flowing into your mind, don't dismiss them. That's not coincidence. It's an activation from the current sun-moon cycle, opening a gateway to your inner creative intelligence. Capricorn, you're standing at a quiet crossroads, a chance to re-choose, silently. No announcements needed, no validation required. If it feels right to you, that's enough. You may see others rushing ahead, but for you, slow right now is not falling behind. It's the essential breath between steps that makes each future move steady and strong. You may feel yourself separating from things that once felt familiar, but this isn't loss. It's a recalibration of frequency, preparing you for a new cycle, one that matches your soul more truthfully. You don't need anyone to confirm you're on the right path, because your right comes from the alignment between your inner world and your outer reality, not from the agreement of the crowd. Dear Capricorn, in this phase where you feel like you've reached the edge of your endurance, when it seems you have only a little energy left to carry on, that is precisely when a true source of light begins to flicker from within. Not light from others, not from praise, recognition, or external achievements, but from your inner light, the one long forgotten as you've been bracing yourself to walk through heavy, responsibility-laden days. In your astrological chart right now, the Sun and Saturn are activating a state known as energy sovereignty, a place where you no longer live in reaction but begin to live through creation. This awakening doesn't come in an explosion. It isn't loud. It arrives like twilight, when the sun is about to set and everything in the world is bathed in a honeygold hue. Astrology calls this the golden hour of the soul. And Capricorn, you are stepping into that hour. It comes when you sit quietly after a long day, feeling the rhythm of your breath, when your hands touch the work in front of you, and you suddenly realize you're pouring more heart into it than thought. When you walk outside, see a butterfly passing, hear an old song playing, and your heart softens. These are clear signs that you are reconnecting with your soul. In your current astrological map, there's a hidden trine between the sun, the heart, and your ruling planet, forming a triangle of steadiness, guiding you back toward what you truly love, what you truly long to nurture. You may begin revisiting past decisions, not to question yourself, but to acknowledge, I really tried, but now I want to live more truthfully. This new light doesn't look like victory. It takes the shape of harmony. You may begin to shift your pace, returning to an old rhythm of life that once made you feel peaceful. You may restart a habit, a dream, or a relationship you once set aside simply because it wasn't time yet. Now it is. Therapeutic astrology calls this the phase of emotional cycle restoration, where you begin tending to yourself the way a gardener patiently waters without rushing the blooms. And Capricorn, you are returning to the role of gardener for your own being. You are relearning how to live slowly, but deeply, to do less, but do it meaningfully, to choose connection over control, presence over performance. There's no more race to run, nothing left to prove. This is your moment to shine, by your energy field, not through your voice, but by the peace people feel simply because you're there. You no longer need validation because the universe has already affirmed you through every sign, every intuitive nudge, every strange dream, every coincidence you've been seeing on repeat lately. Capricorn, you're not just someone who endures well. You are a guide who leads with peaceful light. That's why others come to you when they need advice, silence, or a reflection. And you'll realize this more clearly in the coming days. Someone will come to you and simply say, "I don't know why, but I feel calm when I'm near you." When that happens, know that you've activated your new light, not by effort, but by deep surrender. Capricorn, you may have heard somewhere that the best time to begin is now. But for you, someone who moves with deliberate steps, you know there is a moment even more precious than now. It's when something within you agrees to move forward, and that moment is today. The universe doesn't need you to act loudly. The sun doesn't need you to shout, "I'm ready." You only need to take one small step, choose something sincere, release something outdated, and you've already opened the new door. At this time, the energy of Saturn, your ruling planet, is shifting into connection with the 12th house, the house of endings, release, and inner transformation. This isn't a bitter end, it's a mature, peaceful one. You don't need to force yourself to let go, you just need to recognize whatever makes you feel lighter is what's ready to be released. You can begin with a very small act, like stepping outside at sunset, the time astrology calls the golden hour. To take a deep breath and say, "I am enough. I no longer need to hold on to what no longer fits." You might not say it out loud, it might just be a quiet nod to yourself, but that gesture, however small, will shift your entire energy field. Because when you agree to change, your energy sends a signal to the universe, and the universe, which has been quietly waiting for you, will respond with miracles. Maybe an unexpected phone call, a message from someone you used to be close with, an opportunity you never anticipated, a short trip or a change in direction that seems random at first. But Capricorn, you know this well, nothing is ever random, because you've just passed through 13 days of the energy portal, a time when your soul was cleansed, adjusted, and restored. You chose to walk through it, and you deserve a reality that aligns more closely with your true self. You don't need to return to who you once were, even if that version of you was strong, successful, and resilient. You only need to do one thing: return to the version of yourself you never allowed to fully live. The one who doesn't need to brace all the time, who doesn't have to hide, who doesn't have to guess what others want. Only to be honest, to be sincere, and to live in alignment with what you believe is most beautiful. That's not rebellion, that is the maturity of the soul. Astrology calls this the seasonal crossing, where you leave the old season in silence and step into a new one with profound energy. No fanfare, no trumpets, but powerful enough to shift your entire path. You won't see immediate results, but you'll feel the change from within. Your body will feel lighter, your mind will feel clearer, your heart won't feel as tired, and something inside you will quietly know, I'm in the right place at the right time on the right frequency. Capricorn, you didn't come here to be perfect. You came here to be real. And real doesn't mean raw or fragile. Real is when you don't need to say much, yet everyone can feel your energy. The road ahead may still have its challenges, but you will walk through them with a different kind of energy, no longer exhausted, no longer burdened, but with the full connection of your soul, body, and mind. Capricorn, if this message resonates with you, leave a comment or simply say, I'm ready to enter the new season. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss your next journey. One where you're not just being guided, but finally returning to yourself